These are seated leg curls, a great exercise to target those hamstrings. Before we get started on the setup, make sure on that way up during that eccentric you're taking them nice and controlled 4 to 5 seconds on that way up. Setting up this machine can be a little bit tricky, so listen up. First up, you're going to put that backrest in the spots where you got the most amount of the back of the thighs on that bench, and the knee is placed at the pivot point of the machine. On this one, it has a red little circle letting me know that that's where the pivot point of the machine is. You should also be fully scooted back to where that lower back is in full contact of that backrest. If you're feeling a lot of pressure on the lower back, it likely means that you have that butt scooted too much forward and there's some space between your back and the backrest. Then that footrest should be set to its highest height, that way you're getting the most stretch and full range of motion at the top of the movement. Next, set the length of that footrest in a spot where it's right above the ankle, basically right above that shoe. Next, let's talk about that pad that goes on top of the thighs. This is to help secure your body in the machine and making sure that the hips don't slide forward while performing this exercise. Most machines have this, but if yours doesn't, that's unfortunate because this is going to really help you stay locked into that machine. If your machine doesn't have this, no worries, it's not the end of the world, but it does help a lot when doing this exercise, especially heavy. Also, that thigh pad should also be super tight, pressing and jamming those thighs into that padding. Once you're in place, let's talk about where those hands should be. The lower you are pushing back, the easier it's going to be to keep yourself from sliding forward. So I'd recommend either pushing down at the very bottom of the padding, not using those handles, or putting them in between those legs and pushing up on that padding. Almost like you were doing a bicep curl. Each time you're pushing those legs down through the concentric, make sure you push yourself backwards using those arms as much as you can. Bring those heels as far back as you can take them, like you're trying to touch the heels to the butt. And like I mentioned at the very beginning, take that eccentric up nice and slow, at least 4 seconds on the way up. For the range of motion on that way up, you basically want to stop right before you lock out those legs at the top, keeping a slight bend of the knee and get the full stretch of the hamstrings. The hamstrings have a higher proportion of fast twitch muscles than slow twitch muscles, so keep them in a lower rep range between 8 to 12 reps. And last little tip on these, for example myself, I do 4 sets of 9 to 12 reps, where I take that first set to failure, then doing assisted reps using my arm to push up on that counterweight during the concentric, helping me go past failure and hit 12 on every single set after that. Let's grow those legs, and you know what to do, like and subscribe.